Boom bop bop. Scap bobbity scoop scap scap. Scabba scoop scap scap. You know, of all these collabs on this record, you would think that Health would call me to do some scatting. What the fuck, Health? What the fuck? I'm immediately gonna detract a point from the final score just for that. Just for that. Good morning, metalheads of the internet, and welcome to something a little bit different on the Metal Meltdown, because we're not talking about a metal album, really. I mean, it's got metal elements, and it's definitely very dark, and definitely very heavy, but we're leaning more so into full-on industrial and synthwave territory today, talking about Disco 4 Part 2 from Health. Originally starting off as a noise rock, indie rock band on their self-titled debut, Health, they quickly began to incorporate some electronic influence on sophomore album Get Color, and then 6 years later became a full-blown kind of electro-industrial, EBM, industrial rock band with their third studio album, Death Magic. The first time I came to know Health was when they dropped a collaborative track with Full of Hell, entitled Full of Health. It was later featured on Disco 4 Part 1. That was easily one of the gnarliest pieces of, like, industrial power violence and grind I think I've ever fucking heard. And it got me really pumped for Disco 4 Part 1. For some reason I had this feeling that it was like a full-blown collaborative effort between Health and Full of Hell. I was very wrong, but pleasantly wrong. Like, I was surprised, and pleasantly surprised at being wrong and happy that I was wrong. Does that make sense? I honestly don't fucking know. I'm losing track of myself here. The album featured more collaborations from Perturbator, 100 Gex, Youth Code, JPEG Mafia, Soccer Mommy, Ghost Main. Loaded with stars, loaded with killer talent, and it was a great record. And now, only 18 months later, Health have dropped Disco 4 Part 2. Another killer record, filled with more killer collaborations, more killer talent, and guess what? It's fucking killer. In many ways, this is probably Health's biggest album to date. I mean, some of the names on this record are huge. For instance, you have the gods of industrial rock and metal, 9 Inch Nails on the track Isn't Everyone, which coincidentally is the lead single for this album. It's been out for a bit, so there's a chance you might have heard it, but just in case you haven't, spoiler alert, it's fucking fantastic. It's a really cold, chilly, kind of industrial rock pop track with steady beats and dreamy vocals all contrasting off of each other, all working together. There's some really great keyboard stuff here. There's some heavier guitar parts near the end that bring to mind like classic 9 Inch Nails from like The Fragile, Downward Spiral, Broken. Trent Reznor sounds fucking great on here as well. His like kind of shrill, menacing tone works very nicely with the softer, clean vocals, the more ambient vocal patterns and textures and melodies. The one and only Poppy shows up on the track Dead Flowers. Her very soft-spoken, slightly melancholic, yet bubbly vocals pair quite nicely with the industrial rhythms and the very laid-back soundscapes and, like, ethereal keyboards. This song paints a very vivid picture in my mind. Like, when I hear this song, I'm reminded of, like, taking the streetcar very late at home near Yonge and Dundas. Like, the neon reflects off of the glass. It's raining a little bit, too, so, you know, it's, like, extra eerie and atmospheric. Poppy's anguished, glass-shattering screams on the latter half of this track, though, were just enough to wake me up and remind me that, oh god, I'm on a streetcar, it's Yonge and Dundas, keep my guard up, just in case. I've seen motherfuckers smoke crack and take shits on the TTC. I don't want to be caught lacking. And then there's Cold Blood, which features Lamb of God. Yeah, definitely one of the weirder and more unexpected collabs for sure, but honestly, good for Lamb of God, because this is unironically 1,000 times better than anything featured on their self-titled album a couple years ago. Like, these riffs are so meaty, so crispy, so crunchy, so fucking delicious. It's like a southern fried steak with sausage gravy and biscuits in sonic form. And while not every artist on this record is as prolific as, say, Nine Inch Nails or Lamb of God or even Poppy, all of them bring something unique to the sound. All of them bring something unique to the record. For instance, Ad 1000, featuring The Body, is a slow, oppressive, doom sludge industrial jam akin to that of, well, what I would kind of expect from The Body at this point, but I'm also reminded of some really gnarly Author and Punisher stuff. There's also some industrial hip-hop, dare I say, trap metal style shit on tracks like Murder, Death, Kill, featuring Ada Rock and Play That Boy Zai, and Gnostic Flesh Mortal Hell, featuring Backwash and Horror. Both tracks are great, a lot of demented, almost black metal, shrieking vocals, a lot of really aggressive beats and rhythms, grating, noisy guitars, a lot of static, a lot of feedback, a lot of gristle and grime. If I had to pick a favorite of the two, I'd probably go with Gnostic Flesh Mortal Hell, but that's mostly just because I really love Backwash and Horror, and I am so happy to finally see these two on a track together. With Health, no less. Holy shit, now that's a fucking supergroup if you ask me. That needs to be a permanent thing, or at the very least something that happens way more often. Though in all honesty, the album might be at its best when it strays entirely from metal and rock influence, when it dips its toes into 80s synthwave and synth pop music. Take for instance The Joy of Sect featuring Street Sex. I love this cut. It's very chill, it's very catchy, it's very bouncy and smooth. It does have some chaotic rhythms and vocal textures here and there, but not to the point where it's like really crazy or too chaotic for its own good. No Escape featuring The Neighborhood and Excess featuring Perturbator dip their toes further into that synthwave, synth-pop swimming pool, the former of which is a very calm, a very chill, a very mellow kind of industrial pop song, definitely the most laid-back thing on the entire record, whereas Excess is a little dark, a little groovy, a little sexy, a little raucous. I mean, sure, it's still kind of dreary, but not dreary enough that I couldn't picture this playing in, like, a club late at night, or even being added to some kind of baby-making music playlist, if you catch my meaning. So yeah, I kinda love this album. I'm gonna give it a strong 4 out of 5. I love how flexible it is. I love how much variety there is on the record. This is one of those few kind of industrial synth records that really does have something for everyone. Like, if you're just looking for some really heavy, fucked up shit, check out Ad 1000 featuring The Body. If you're looking for some gnarly grooves and some headbanging tunery, check out Cold Blood with Lamb of God. If you want to fuck, if you want to dance and snort fucking coke, check out Excess from Perturbator. And despite all of the different sounds, despite all of the different collaborations on this record, Health still sounds like Health. They're never swallowed whole by anything or anyone here. They are as confident as ever. They are as strong and as creative as ever. The overall production of the record is fantastic. It just sounds really good from start to finish. Everything is punchy, dynamic, super crisp and clear. I don't really know what the plan is, if there's a Disco 4 Part 3 on the way, or if there's a Disco 5 or some other bullshit, but I do know that this is a great record, and I do know that if you haven't checked out Health before, now's the time to do so, because based on everything I've heard, I might say this is my favorite from them yet. I don't know. Death Magic is pretty high up there. But, yeah. Regardless of where it ranks, 4 out of 5, it's a great record. That's what matters. Definitely check it out. And that is it for the Metal Meltdown. I'm not an expert, nor do I claim to be, so what do you think? Do you like this record? Do you not like this record? And what do you want to hear from me next? And thank you for watching. Make sure you press subscribe right here so you get updates on the Metal Meltdown fucking immediately. And as always, you have yourself a fantastic fucking day.